This is how you can clay prep and polish your car. Now this is a very good, how can I describe it? It's not a proper in-depth video. This is going to be a very good overview of how you can start to understand and maybe even go away with this information to actually go and polish your own car. As you see now, I'm clay barring the car. So I've done all the wash, the chemical decontamination. Now this is called the mechanical contamination because we've gone from chemical to actually physically touching the car now. So Tom went round the car before and he was like, oh, that's a bit rough. And we've clayed the car, well, bit of the car, and he can feel it now. It's like silky smooth, which is what we want, right, for polishing. So you need some sort of lubrication when you're claying. You do not want to be getting your clay bar and just rubbing it all over the car. It's not going to be successful, trust me. So you want some sort of lubrication between the clay bar, the mechanical decontamination, and the paintwork. One method that I've just used now, you can snowfoam one side of the whole car depending on what you work in, sun, weather, all that type of stuff. And then with your clay, you've got that lubrication, and then you can go around and remove any sort of contamination that you can feel with your hand. You can feel it working, right? The other way is to buy a dedicated clay lube. I'm quite against clay lubes because yes, they are sort of good at what they do, obviously, but you're better off just using soapy water. A bit of shampoo water is exactly the same thing. And like I said before, first method that I'm quickly used today, don't always do this method, is a bit of snow foam. But the whole point of claying and white is so important before you do that machine polishing is because there is still contamination which is going to be on this paintwork. Now if you don't remove this, you imagine you've got a very aggressive pad that is spinning very fast, and if it picks up anything, you just continue that round the whole car, whatever's on the pad, and the paintwork's going to look 10 times worse than it did at the start. So spend the time, do things properly, do your chemical decon, do your clay barring, take your time, rinse, feel the paint. If it's nice and smooth, then that is a good indication that you removed a lot of the contamination before polishing. So I've done half the car, as a good point. Now I've done a chemical decon already, right? We went round the car and it looks clean, it feels great. Then we've clay barred it, and look that we've still managed to pick up. So you imagine you pick up any bit of this dirt, grime, grit, tar, as you can see there, on that pad, it's going to go all the way around the car. Major point to note, don't drop it. If you do drop it and you run out of clay, maybe you could fold it over, give yourself a fresh piece, or whatever side that's folded on the floor, use the other side. Probably shouldn't have said that because now people are going to go, oh my god, you do you, all right? I'm just telling you, if you were to run out of clay and I drop my clay bar and I've got a clean side and I can fold it over, I'm using the clean side and folding it over. So now continuation onto actual pads, compounds, machines, all that type of stuff. Different types of machines then. I should really get my rotary machine out so I can see what I'm going about. So let's say rotary machine. Why is it called a rotary machine? Because all the head does is rotate in one direction. So as you can see there, this machine is Shine Mate, really good heavy duty pig eye machine. Thing is with rotary machines, you need quite a bit of skill, you need a bit of hands-on to get used to it. Other machines which are most common right now are DA machines. Which basically mean they're dual purpose action machines, so they rotate and oscillate at the same time. So not only does it rotate like a rotary machine, but also oscillate, so it spins like that basically. So I've got this carbon collecting machine. I love this machine, battery powered, don't have to bother with cables, and you can up sort of the speed on it as well, all the way up as fast or as aggressive we need to. And this is a sort of DA machine, so like I mentioned before, rotates and oscillates like so. That's fast time. And then we've got all the various different aggressive and least aggressive pads in there as well. And I've also got to go into enemy combi drill, which is a little, I call them little doofers, right? Obviously the wrong name, but I call them little doofers. Compounds then and pads. So compounds, we've got different types of compounds. We've got like your medium cut compounds, your minor swirl removal compounds. This is a great medium cut compound from Angel Wax, and use that for a lot of one steps. You've got sort of a 2-in-1 compounds that will cut, refine and leave a nice level of protection behind. Now a point to note guys, I'm seeing quite a lot of people falling foul with this, whether you're aware of this or not. That green band basically means that there's, like I said before, there's fillers and there is sort of a Canuba wax level in this compound for your finish, right? Cut and finish. Great for cutting, great for finishing. Do not be using ceramic coatings over this because the coating will fail, okay? Now you're moving on to your heavier cut compounds. heavy cut, super heavy cut, whatever it may be. Basically, think of a heavy cut compound, or really any polishing compound, a really small, tiny diminishing abrasives. Another one I need to touch on very lastly before I move on, actually do some polishing, is panel wipes. Now, you can get oil-based panel wipes or you can get alcohol-based panel wipes. Go to EZ Car Care, links below. You can grab their panel wipe with Eliminator. It's more of an alcohol-based panel wipe with a clean microfiber cloth to remove, excuse me, really raspy throat today, to remove those oils or polished compounds or residue, and also in preparation before polishing. Got my clean microfiber cloth, got my panel wipe with Eliminator. All I'm going to do, spray onto the panel or the area of the panel I'm going to be working. Microfiber cloth, all prepped, all good. Quick once over, just to make sure there's no water spots or marks I may or may not have missed. I'll put about 4 pea size roughly amount of compound of my medium cut compound, which is Regenerate, great medium cut compound. I'm going to dot and dab. The reason why I like to dot and dab is it's less likely chance of, if I just go in straight away with my working speed, it's less likely chance I'm going to have compound flinging and flying everywhere. Some people don't like to do it that way. I do like to do it this way. It's how I got taught, it's how I've always done it, how I get the best results. So do it this way first if you do like watching that stuff and content, and then if you find a way you like to do it yourself that's more efficient and better for you, fine, but just do it this way first, and then you can sort of evolve from there if you need to. And then all I'm going to do, lowest speed, is get the compound into my working area and then turn up the speed, turn up a bit of pressure, and then I'm going to do anywhere from 4 to maybe 5 passes. Level 1 done, working area marked out, bring it up to level 3, maybe bring it up to level 4. The speed I'm moving my pad now, I'm not being super fast like I was at level 1. I'm now slowing the speed down. I'm trying to make sure my pad is always flat to the panel. I'm not too high off the panel at any wrong angle. Time experience will allow you to feel and know when your pad is flat to the panel. Point to note then is when we're looking down to actual pad, you'll see I've got lines when it stops. I'll give you 2 secs. Oh guys, I never do what I've just done there. If your machine's still spinning, right, on the panel, don't take it off. Wait until it stops spinning, then take it off, all right? Now you can see these lines here. Can you see them, Tom? Yeah. You see them lines, there's one there, there's a couple there. Now I've put them on so I can visually see that the pad is moving, it's not stalling. So if I can constantly see them black lines moving rather than stalling, it's just another great tool and method you can utilize in order to help you with your polishing process. Gonna up the speed now, maybe to level 4. We've done up and down, now I'm going to go left to right. Another big point to note is I'm going half a pad distance up every time. Not a full pad, doing a half pad. Less likely to miss anywhere, and I'm going to get a longer working time on the area that I'm polishing, because the previous half the pad size that I was on, if that makes sense, it's going to get worked again. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? When it comes to pressure as well, I'm not putting crazy pressure down on top of the machine. Don't need to. On a flat panel. So that's 2 passes. First up and down, second left to right, third back again, up and down. Now, to someone this might be quite a large working area, and you would have gone, oh, I was always taught to working like, you know, a 1x1 section or a 2x2 sort of section. Wherever you feel like doing, work at a smaller section first, and then if you need to up it, and you can work in a larger area for a bit of experience, you can do. Now I'm going to finish off, back to level 1. It's a very quick, I like to call it a butty stage, just to make sure I haven't got any pad lines that I've left with polishing. Got my panel wipe, got my clean microfiber cloth, a few sprays onto the actual cloth itself. Flip over, buff off any final residue, and left with really good, clean, shiny paintwork, which ain't bad for a very good enhancement. Another point to note, inspection torches. Doesn't matter what torch you've got. Some people I'm seeing using the torch from the phone. Doesn't matter what you've got. I mean, obviously you spend a bit of money, then it's going to be a lot better for you. You can get inspection torches, so if you need to in certain areas, and we're in direct sunlight, so we don't necessarily need it. But if you're in darker areas, whether in a unit, whatever it is, under gazebo, you need to inspect your work. Get yourself an inspection torch for before and after you've done polishing, so you can see the before, and then obviously inspect after when you've buffed away using your various panel wipes. Quick thing that I forgot to mention when it comes to actually putting your pad on your machine, a lot of these pads will have holes in. Okay, so all you do is you marry up the hole in the centre of the actual pad between the hole and the actual polisher itself and the backing plate. So you got your backing plate, you got the back of the pad, Velcro bit on the back, and then all you got to do, marry it up in the centre. If you're ever unsure that you've not got it to the centre, turn it round, and then as you spin your machine, you'll be able to see. Can you see that, Tom? So as I spin, it's even all the way around. You're on the back of the backing plate, because otherwise, if I put it on wrong, as an example, let's say I went like that, yeah, can you see how it's not even? Then we'll look at the centre, it's all over the place, right? Now, there are some pads that don't have holes in the middle. I understand you, okay, guys? All you got to do then is just try and Mr. Miyagi it, all right? And try and get the backing plate into the centre of the pad as best you can. If you're ever unsure, like I said before, spin it and you can go, oh yeah, happy with that. As long as you're pretty much there in the centre, you're good to go. As long as you're not all over the place like that, yeah, you'll be all right, okay? I mentioned briefly before about the different types of machines, but Tom made a good point, which I failed to mention yet again, is when would you use each pad or each machine around the car? So, it's a good question. Thank you very much for that, Tom. Just with any sort of tradesman, the more tools you have, the better you're going to be able to efficiently do your job, all right? You don't have to buy those machines straight away from day one. It just makes your life a lot easier. Get the 5-inch machine first, use that, get good and competent using that. Then when you start going on your sort of car detailing journey, paint correction journey, whatever you want to call it, you'll start wanting to utilise different machines. So a 3-inch machine, for example, let's take these pillars, for example. I'm getting a much better working surface area on there than I would be if I went and got my 5-inch machine. And I'm more likely clipping something I don't want to be clipping, all right? Now the argument is then, oh James, why don't you get the 1-inch machine? Yes, I could go and get my 1-inch machine. You are totally right. If you want to go get my 1-inch machine with my smaller pad and work in a much smaller surface area, you could do that. But it's personal preference. If I know I can get a good finish from what the customer wants with a 3-inch pad, I'll go with 3-inch pad. Yes, I can go with my 1-inch pad. 5-inch pad, probably not the best. So I've got my 3-inch machine on the roof pillar, for example. If I've got my 3-inch machine on there, that's going to fit a lot better and a better working area than it would be if I went and got my 5-inch machine, for example. Now, could I use my 5-inch machine on that on a slow speed? Yeah, probably could do. Am I going to get a better finish? Probably not. So you will find what works for you by utilising all the different pads, compounds, machines, thicknesses of pads, types of pads, all that type of stuff. At the very end, guys, I am going to snowfoam and rinse, just get rid of any sort of, can you see all this white spots, which is compound residue. Get rid of that, final inspection, final wipe down, and we're done. If you do want a more in-depth how-to videos, reviews, whatever it may be, leave in the comments. I do read every single one of them. I will reply to every single one of them, because again, this channel is for you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe as always, and again, this is a overview, a good overview on how to prep, machine polish your car. See you later.